that was less troublesome to fight through than I thought it would be. That ballista really didn't get a chance to shine, despite the fact that the game paid extra special attention to it, did it? And how is that a surprise, considering Lundgren could literally poison his brother and send an attack force at an ally with nobody to stop him? If anything, I'm more disturbed that you insane didn't say anything about fighting against your fellow knights while we were slaughtering the poor bastards. We showed no hesitation against them, just like we didn't hesitate to cut down any of the other enemies we've run into over the course of the game so far. And I doubt we're going to see all that much in the way of hesitation in the rest of the game either. I'm pretty sure you have enough hit points to survive a few arrows, though it would have been a nasty surprise. Nice to see you show up to a conversation again, Matthew. Do you have anything interesting to contribute? Was that the same village Lucius went to in order to get the anti-lance sword? Well, the music has shifted. That implies it's major news. Months straight of being poisoned by his own brother. Apparently Lundgren doesn't believe in swiftly taking power. The player already knows this. This is not a revelation. You'd think the fact that Lundgren is being so blatant about it would make things a little tougher for him. He's not even bothering trying to hide the fact that he's been gaining that power illegitimately, so his own subjects in the surrounding territories should damn well know not to respect the orders of the bastard. But then I've never experienced living in a monarchy of any kind. Maybe a good amount of the people just do not give a damn about what goes on in Kaelin's throne, so long as it doesn't disrupt their own personal lives. It's possible the people just don't give enough of a shit to want to risk themselves fighting against the heartless bastard just yet. It can take years, if not entire generations, for the anger to build up enough to overthrow a tyrant. Still, kind of funny that she had a similar complaint about the situation that I had. No sign as in they aren't saying anything, or no sign as in they're gone altogether? No, it's fairly generic when it comes to plots involving taking over the throne, but I suppose things don't feel so cliché when they're happening to you. Right. So he's turning things into a he said, she said situation. Again, not all that surprising. Hell, I'd be more surprised if he didn't try to pull something like that. Can you really call them traitors when they're following the orders of the man who gave them the orders before his brother took over? Not that any of this is likely to go into any kind of trial other than just plain combat. Well, to be fair, it's not like you were considered his granddaughter before you left Lycia. Right, understandable after the way she and her father broke off. The woman took years to muster the energy to send a letter to the man, and I would not be surprised if Lundgren saw that letter and ensured that the Lorca tribe no longer existed, though it's just as possible that the bandits just randomly slaughtered the tribe without any outside help at all. Not that it would make much of a difference either way. We need to take that bastard down. If we need to hurry, then let's stop bothering with this conversation and move on. Well, we've already slaughtered a good number of soldiers just to get this far. We might be able to bum rush through them. Good to know that Lynn is thinking of asking someone important for help. It doesn't mean he's going to join our party, but I'll take what I can get. So in order to move forward, we have to pull back a bit. It works, but still a bit funny when I think about it. She has no interest in the throne whatsoever. Not that Lundgren is ever gonna understand something like that, since his entire personality revolves around being a power-hungry bastard. And like with every other character in this game, there's not much hope he's gonna develop beyond that baseline. Hopefully, it's more grim for whoever we're fighting than it will be for our people. At the very least, the music playing in the background doesn't imply that it's going to be all that grim. Well, I suppose that's one way to make things easier for us. It doesn't change the fact that the enemy has more resources than we do, though, or that this detour probably gave them time to fortify their final position some more. I'm sure Lundgren would have gotten more reinforcements from those other kingdoms than we could have gotten from you. Besides, we've already got a lot of blood on our hands considering how lighthearted this journey is supposed to be. What you're doing should help prevent even more people from dying in this inheritance dispute. Given the music, I'm sure even they know that we're gonna have to fight our way to Kalen all the way from here. Granted, Lynn did a good job of preventing Lundgren from being able to outright swarm us with obscene numbers, and his only real thing seems to be numbers period when it comes to his tactics. He clearly doesn't have any tactical talent whatsoever, and no tactician in his employ. I assume that general could be a problem. Definitely gonna replace Matthew with Florina. Yeah, no ballistas to worry about around here. If anything, I'm shocked that there's so few of the bastards. But I suppose some of those forts will provide them with a stream of reinforcements to make up for their lacking initial numbers. The boss looks to be another man on horseback, which means he's gonna have swords and spears to use against us. Decent mix of swords and spearmen out here, but no sign of any mages, archers, or axe users. I'm sure that might change as it goes on. Everyone's supplies look pretty solid, though we're going to want to get the Lance Reaver and Armor Slayer to people who can actually use them. Kind of wish we could do the whole item trading thing in the same screen. We pick the units to deploy instead of having to exit that screen and go to another one. Ah, well, nothing much we can do about that, just work with the systems that are in place. It's not a bad system anyway, it's just a bit more inconvenient than I would have liked. What I think is bad is that there's no party inventory of any kind, so we could stockpile some items when we have the chance, in case there's no stores when we absolutely need them. Now, there's no way we're gonna complete this entire mission in this clip, but we can at least go through a turn or two. Assuming, of course, that the first bit of dialogue as we gain a new recruit doesn't take too damn long. Well, clearly the guy came out of retirement considering the sheer amount of armor he's wearing. I don't think this is the kind of world where you need to worry about random roaming monsters attacking farms or something like that. Again, it's your word against Lundgren's. Granted, with Lundgren's blatant attempt to bullshit to rise to power, his word really shouldn't have all that much power behind it. Still, we've got no rock-hard evidence. We just have the fact that Lynn looks like her mother, and the name of her mother. If you wanted to hurry things along, Lynn, you should have showed up the instant someone asked to see you. You're a skilled fighter, I'm sure you could hold your own if things went so bad everyone else on the team could just rip into the bastard from multiple angles while you kept him busy. Not too sure what you meant by posturing, though. I've seen quite a bit of posturing over the years. Nothing there felt like someone putting on airs of being a badass. Anyway, the music has changed, so clearly we aren't going to have to do anything to prove ourselves to the man. He's going to join up with our already pretty large crew. Really doesn't feel like our crew are mercenaries, considering we aren't taking on various jobs for money on the way to our primary goal of getting Lynn to her grandfather. I really wish we knew how we're paying everyone who's coming with us on this journey. I'm sure this is quite a relief for you, Kent, but I just cannot find it in me to give a damn in the least. Not when this is the first time we've ever met him, and I doubt he's gonna have all that much of an impact on the story. Hell, I'm pretty sure that Lynn's story is getting pretty damn close to finishing up. So there's not much of a chance of us getting to feel all that connected with, Wallace before it's time to move on to Elliewood's campaign, where I don't think he's gonna follow us. God. Is this going to be yet another bit where we aren't allowed to actually give him orders, and have to give the explicit orders that the game itself wants us to? For God's sakes, we're 11 missions in. We can stop with the tutorial stuff. The that gets downright handholdy. We know the game can introduce things to the player without treating us like idiots that can't be trusted for a turn or two. We saw that when the Reaver weapons were introduced to us in the previous mission. So why are we still going with this obnoxious form of telling us what we need to know in the 11th mission of the game? So we have no choice but to get the man to use the item that upgrades him to a higher class of unit before we even get a chance to see him do anything as his base style of unit. Personally, I would have preferred to let him level up some more before giving him the upgrade, since applying said upgrade not only ups a character's stats, it also turns them to a level 1, which means there are more stats that could be grown as we push forward. Generally, that's a good way to maximize how powerful a character can become in this franchise. But we do not have the choice in the matter here. We've been introduced to the concept of upgrading units, so we need to upgrade the unit we only just got before we get familiar with what he can do. Not that a heavily armored guy like Wallace is generally a great soldier to have on the field with you in these games. Sure, he's quite defensively capable and can deliver some harsh blows, but he is not especially mobile. And considering the vast majority of missions require us to be on the offensive, charging ahead to crush our enemies in Kane territory? He's not going to get to do all that much. As if the fact that he's a late campaign addition to the team isn't crippling enough for the poor bastard. Nice. So he's allowed to use axes with his new form, and he brought axes with him before he even changed forms. That saves us some potential logistics issues. Excuse me for not feeling any for him changing, though. Again, we only just got introduced to the character, and it's not like he was placed in a spot where the slow tank could get to prove how badass he is to get us started here. Not that Lucius had much of a debut, either. With most bosses, it doesn't matter how far the game says they can move all too often. They just sit in the spot they started from, waiting for us to come to them, because they damn well know they're the last line of defense in a given mission. And what better way to stall the player than making sure the single strongest, most defensive asset on the field is on the best defensive ground in the field. Ground that very frequently we want a very specific member of our team to stand on, and select a very specific option on it before we're allowed to move on to the next mission. Anyway, both of his weapons seem to be ranged. That's going to make it a bit more troublesome to pick him off. Still, I'm pretty confident in this team, even without counting the probably overpowered Wallace, who just joined us and might not even manage to get a single kill. Assuming the enemy doesn't get any archers as reinforcements out here, there should be no harm in having Florina be the tip of our proverbial spear. Hell, considering how she just leveled up, it's hard to feel all that worried about her. She may not be one of our best, but she's no slouch. Yeah. Think I'd prefer Dorcas move faster than the guy we essentially had to skip the turn of right from the start. Well, there's a village just sitting there, so may as well have someone visit it. I'm afraid torches weren't available for us before now. And much like with the special water, we gained several missions ago. I somehow doubt we're gonna use them, even if they're the best tool for the job. Hell, the fog that's rolling in won't even be here for a while yet. Certainly not until the next clip, at the very least. No surprise he's considered a liar by pretty much anyone who pays attention. And hey, if the random civilians want to give us torches in the hopes that will end the bastard, who am I gonna say no even if I'm not likely to use the torches? It's not like I'm gonna ask the villagers to directly take up arms and fight against the army Lundgren has at his disposal.